Hello. So welcome to 1006th Way of Learning API Testing Part 2. So in this video, we will try to understand what is Swagger and how to work with Swagger. So when I started testing in API for the first time, the first application or the URL that the developer shared me was a Swagger URL. So this CatFax API that I'm using, so you can just type in Google as CatFax Swagger and you will be able to open this. So this is open source, so anybody can use it. So before understanding how to utilize Swagger and test APIs, we will understand what Swagger is. So Swagger is a suite of tools for API developers, which maintained by SmartPeer. So just like it's mentioned here. So it basically helps user to build, document, test, and create APIs. So basically REST APIs. So this is a use of Swagger. So when a developer gives you a Swagger link, so this is not from a testing perspective, this is not where we do the actual testing, but this can be a good starting point. Now we will just learn as and when it comes. So if you see here, there are two main columns mentioned as breeds and facts. So for our easy understanding, we will consider that breeds is a table and facts is a table, just like a database. Okay, a database with different tables. So these tables already have a set of data. Now what we are trying to do is we trying to hit these URLs using some endpoint. So we will understand what all these things are. So we are trying to check whether whatever data we have based on some condition, if I giving one condition, based on that, if it is able to fetch data from this particular table in the database. All right, we will click on it and try exploring. So I just opened breeds. So in this breeds, if you see the first one, it shows is get/breeds. So when I'll open this one also and show you. So if you see, all are get. So this get is actually one of the REST API methods to fetch data. Okay, so get is actually to fetch data from this particular table based on, so there are few get methods like no get APIs where you can provide a particular condition and get the data, or you randomly get all the data, or you randomly get some data. So based on how this API has been designed, the way the fetching of data might differ. Okay, so I'll again go ahead and click and open this. So when you open it, okay, so it will first mention what it will do. This is just a quick description and you will see or try it out. Only if you click on it, you will be able to utilize this API call. Okay. Now, next you will see is parameters. We call it as query parameters, which means to go and fetch data from this particular table, you give some value here. Okay, like a var condition. So where I want so and so data from this table, stock data from the table, when this attribute is equal to so and so value, just like that. So here there is a limit. So if you give some limit, then you click on execute, it's going to go and fetch data based on the limit value you give here. Okay, now next, once you give this data and click on execute, so here you will get a response. But before that, it actually gives you a template of what response it will give. Okay, so this particular get method or this particular API will always return this code 200 as the status code. We call it as status codes. So this status code 200 is what is expected when you execute something along with the result. Okay, so this first will have on the response side, we will have response status code and then the response description. So generally 200 is like successful operation, and it will also give you what kind of schema that it works on. So we will come to this later. For now, when you execute, you expect that you get a response as 200. All right, we'll go ahead and test it. So now if I'm giving 3 and I'm clicking on execute, now when I get that, I'm getting a response. Okay, and if you see that once you execute it, you will actually get something called as curl. So this command is actually executed to get this data from the table. Now when I give this, if you see this -h, it means like request headers. So this link is going to be your actual API endpoint or the request link which is hit, okay, to get the data. Along with this link, there are few headers that has been submitted. So generally a request will have the endpoint URL or this link, okay, and it will have few header values for sure. Okay. Now, along with that, next is like just like you send a request, we will get a response. So for that response, say I got the code as 200, and then I'm getting a response body. Okay. Now in this response body, if you see, since I've given the limit as 3, so it returns me 3 different types of breeds of what cats or dogs, whatever. I think this cats. Okay. 3 different breed types. Okay. 1, 2, and 3, and it has few extra data as well, but this is what we expected. And there are few response headers as well. Just like you send no request headers, it will give you back a response header as well. Okay, so these are the 4 things you have to look into when you are trying to work on Swagger. So this is a very simple API request. Similarly, we have it's not like it's complex, simple, or medium, but there are few more data that you have to give in, and few more data that you are going to expect out based on the type of request that you are sending. So this request that you are sending is a get request. Okay, I hope this is good enough to understand a simple get request. Try it out and let me know if you have any other issues. Thank you.